We want to clean in the paint. We're going to call hand checking and body checking. And sportsmanship is an absolute must, okay?
He lets it fly. Oh, I can't believe it.
Welcome back to the Two Shots in the Ball podcast. I am your co-host, Mike McAndrews, along with my brother, Jim McAndrews. Jim, a little bit of a hiatus for us, but episode 18 is going to be coming at you with a guest that we're excited to talk to. It's been tricky for us the scheduling portion now that basketball season for both college and high school is in full swing, and then also for our kids, too. So it's a little bit tricky for us to get a guest on the schedule, but we finally got a good one.
Yeah, it is. It's good to be back. And I think well-known coach and player from the state of Michigan, that's for sure. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. And without further ado, why don't we introduce the guest for episode 18? Today's guest is a veteran college basketball coach, having spent the last 41 seasons coaching at the collegiate level. He started his career at Kent State in 1984. In 1989, he left to join Steve Fisher's staff at the University of Michigan, where he spent 7 seasons and was an integral part in putting together what many consider the greatest recruiting class in college basketball history with the Fab Five. In 1996, he left Ann Arbor to become the head coach at Grand Valley, where he spent 1 season before accepting a Division I head coaching position at Central Michigan University in 1997. He spent 9 seasons at Central Michigan, and in 2003 led them to their first conference tournament title, an NCAA tournament appearance since 1997, where he upset Creighton in the first round, giving the Chippewas their first tournament win since 1997. After leaving Central, he spent time as an assistant coach at the University of Detroit, University of Michigan, and currently at Eastern Michigan University. As a high school player, he had an unbelievable career at Mayo Au Sable High School, where he scored a head-spinning 2,841 points, which is still the all-time scoring record in the state of Michigan. He went on to play college basketball at Bowling Green and finished his career at Saginaw Valley. We are excited to have current Eastern Michigan University assistant Coach Jay Smith, an all-time leading scorer without a three-point line, join the podcast today.
I was going to say, I played when you played. And I don't want to date myself because I have little kids and they're in school. Not all the parents are going to hold them, but there was no three-point line.
No three-point lines. We wore Converse tennis shoes, just so you guys know. That was a little different.
Correct.
Back then, right?
That's
that was
correct.
A good shoe.
The only thing that has come back and is still the same is the short shorts, man.
That's it. It's on its way back. It's on its way back a little bit. For sure.
But
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks
for joining us.
So, Coach, take us through your basketball journey for our listeners, from your record-shattering high school career through college, and then your coaching journey up to today.
Wow. I go back to my upbringing. At Mayo High School, Mayo Sable, my dad held the scoring record, and then my brother broke his, and I eventually broke his. So it was a family thing.
Wow.
Back in the 70s, and Chuck Taylor's, we had no three-point line. And I was fortunate enough to obviously put up some points and draw some attention before social media. Remember, we didn't have cell phones, no social media, none of that stuff. So, and I was fortunate enough my senior year, Johnny Orr and Bill Frieder came up to a small town, Fairview, Michigan, which is just 8 miles north of Mayo, came to a game. They could not believe the line that was outside at the game. Back then, that was the big show, right? It was Friday night basketball like never before. I was fortunate to visit Michigan. I'll never forget what Johnny Orr told me. He said, hey, if we get Clark Kellogg, we want to sign you. Obviously, they didn't get Clark Kellogg, and I went somewhere else also. But I've been so blessed to have just an unbelievable career. I've touched a lot of different places, but obviously scoring-wise, I tease people, that record plus 10 cents buys you a cup of coffee. All right. That's about it now. All right.
Get you on a podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's it. But I had, I tell people the neat thing about when we were growing up playing that's a little different now was it was all about winning. It wasn't about anything else. We didn't have all these AU teams. We didn't have all this other things that were going on. So winning was a priority. And I had guys actually who were like, I might have shot 25 times, 26 times a game. They were mad I didn't shoot more because they knew we had to win, and winning was a priority. So I had great teammates, unbelievable people up north that allowed me to play that way, and allowed me to play that way, and a coach that allowed me to play that way. And to this day, my best friends are still from my small town of Mile, Michigan. But I left there, went to Bowling Green, played a year. Believe it or not, we got in the NIT tournament. We played Minnesota and Kevin McHale. That was back when it was only like 30. I think there was 48 in the NCAA tournament, 32 in the NIT back then. So that was kind of a highlight. But knew I was a little bit of a hayseed. I was a small town kid, and it's okay. And I entered the transfer portal, right? There was no NIL, no transfer portal. So I went to Saginaw Valley. And to this day, the coach there, Dr. Robert Pratt, has had a huge influence in my life. To this day, he's one of a really good friend of mine. I talk to him. He lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. I talk to him every couple of weeks. But I had 3 wonderful years. We played an NEI national tournament. We got to the Elite Eight. We got beat by Chaminade, who that year I don't know if you guys remember, beat Virginia, number 1 ranked team in the country. And they played NEI at the time.
Yeah.
But we ended up playing those guys. You lost to them in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four.
Wow.
So it was a great career. I really enjoyed it. And knew I wanted to get into coaching, though. That was my true love, for sure.
Yeah, so getting into coaching at Kent State, what drew you into the coaching side of it?
Everybody was going in at that time. I think you guys know this. Everybody was talking business or engineering and stuff. I'm like, I want to coach. I mean, that's all I want to do. I didn't really want to get into teaching, but if I had to, I could have. But I wanted to coach college. I had a feeling. I was one of those guys that remember the newspapers? I get the box scores. I look at what percentages guys shot and was figuring out strategies when I was in high school. I'm a baseball card collector. I loved all that stuff, and I didn't want to put sports away. I was one of those guys and I told my daddy, I want to get into college coaching. He was like, well, you're going to be broke your whole life. That's okay. I love what I do.
Yeah, right.
My dad climbed telephone poles for 20 years. My mom worked in a hotline at the high school, for lunches and things. And I just wanted to coach. I wanted to make an influence, an impact. My college coach got me in as a GA at Kent State with Jim McDonald, who was also the assistant for Bob Nichols at Toledo at the time, when Bob Nichols had those great teams at Toledo. And we had to wear a tie every day to work, including summer. He gave me such structure and discipline and work. He was a former Marine, and he changed the trajectory of my life as far as coaching wise. He was a John Wooden disciple guy, and just believed wholeheartedly in preparation and routine and organization. He was doing analytics back in the early 80s when he was doing DER, OER, turnover percentage stuff back in the early ages. Guess who was doing it with the calculator right here?
Yeah.
We didn't have all the computer stuff, so we'd stay in the office and crunch numbers. And that's how he would script out plays, and this is what he tried to work on. So I've been blessed, really blessed.
That is fantastic. And I think the really cool things, once you left the Golden Flashes, you've been back home and in this state, and has stayed in this wonderful state of ours to help coach kids in basketball. Now, you've coached at D3, D2, mid-major, Power Fives. I mean, in all different level, all different amazing places. I mean, tell us about those different environments you've coached in, and
that's a great.
Isn't it kind of the same but different?
It is in a lot of ways. Like obviously, you go back to all the NBA guys you've coached, but to this day, even though I only spent 3 years even at Kalamazoo College, I've got a dentist up in Midland. I got an attorney in Detroit. That all those things are great. I I had one of my former players at Kalamazoo College is playing over in Hong Kong, and just called me the other day because he's thinking about starting a business over in Hong Kong. Um, it, all of it, kids want to play and they want to be successful and they want to work. Obviously, Division I, the Power Fives get a heck of a lot more exposure. That's captivating, and you can get seduced by the bright lights at times. But those Division II kids, we won at Grand Valley. We played in the NCAA tournament, and I still talk to them, and that was some of the greatest moments they've had. Division III, no question. We came into Kalamazoo College, Division III. Those guys want to work as hard as anybody to. They're just not as talented. And the depth has changed, obviously, and the spotlight, but they are driven as hard as the Division I guys. The rules are a little bit different, obviously, but all of them have played AAU basketball and have, like, obviously Division III has a little bit more balance with the academic piece. Like I said, I've got doctors, I got lawyers, I got business people that I've coached that are super successful just on a different spectrum, and that's okay. But there's not a huge difference in commitment or time. They have that boyish, like, I want to play and compete. And when you get done playing, you got to put the ball down. It's a little scary because you're going to try to figure out, okay, what do I do to compete? And you want to try to, I tell guys, you're going to work the rest of your life. If you can go play over in Asia, go do it. Go play. Because that's what they love to do right now. And I had one quick story. I had Evan Brunsma from West Michigan Christian. Evan Bruns, Class D.
Let me tell you.
You did this on
let me
purpose?
tell you.
Did you do your homework, Coach?
Let me tell you something,
did
Coach.
You?
You're looking at the guy that got him a scholarship at UAB. We played them in the state championship game his senior year, and he put up like 38 on us.
Well, nobody, the Class D ball players, a lot of times, like a Chris Kamen gets overlooked at Wyoming Tri-Union Christian. Evan Brunsma came to Detroit and was the Horizon League Student Athlete of the Year throughout the whole conference. And then he got a white-collar job offer, I think it was from General Motors. He turned it down and still playing overseas at the #1 level. He married a girl over there. He went to the Netherlands and absolutely loved it. And I made a bad mistake because I was like, Evan, I don't know. You're turning down a 6-figure job with a corner window, office. You got there's a lot on the table here. But he proved me wrong, and from that day on, I really believe if you got a chance to play, go play.
So I have a great story about Evan. So he did not have a Division I offer before heading into the state championship game, and we went on a historic Cinderella run that year to get to the state championship game. And he ended up with like 35. But the highlight of the game at Breslin, we lost by about 6, which was a victory for us because we were way outmanned in that team. He had a fast break dunk on a kid who was trying to take a charge, okay? And it just so happened to be.
I can't believe you're doing this to him. Yeah, I can't believe you're doing this to him.
He's going to kill me for saying this, but it just so happened to be Tommy Tordecki, who then became your student manager at UAB.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, West Michigan Christian knocked me out of the state tournament, the quarterfinals up in Traverse City my senior year. So
it was Jim Gorman coaching then too.
Jim Gorman too. Yeah, for sure. Good man. How about that? That's
I can't believe you pulled that story out. Thought maybe I can't believe you pulled that story out. I was sitting on the bench at that time as well. Yeah, that's a great story.
Hey, Mike, you're going to have to let that go, though.
Yeah. The only reason I can't let it go is because, the only reason I can't let it go is because it still gives me some sort of clout over Tommy every time I need it now and then.
You say clout.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's super. No.
So, Jay, as coaches, we all have people who have mentored us and had a major impact on our coaching careers. You alluded to it a little bit in the open about, your college coach and the impact and still talking to them. Who are some of the guys you've coached alongside some legendary college basketball coaches in your career? Who are some of the guys that have had the biggest impact on you as a coach?
Well, I'm going to say this before I go there. Like, high school instructors and teachers don't get the credit they deserve. I go back to my high school, the men and women. I have a 97-year-old fourth grade teacher that still phones me and leaves me messages. They're not showing me enough on TV because she's watching every game. So the teachers, obviously, my parents had a huge influence. My dad, my mom. My dad passed several years ago, but my mom's still going. And the instructors and teachers at my Sable High School had a huge impact. In fact, I went back and spoke last year at the high school on a leadership thing. Just they changed my life. And then after that, obviously, you get onto your coaching career. My college coach had a huge impact, but all the stops along the way, I just feel are great opportunities to take and steal from different people. Um, Jim McDonald at Kent State, who was unbelievable organization, detail and analytics before analytics was analytics. Steve Fisher in the recruiting and the relationships he builds with people really was tremendous. Uh, in the assistants, Brian Dutcher and Perry Watson, those guys that were there taught me. I was a young guy coming up too at the time, and they gave me great insight to those types of things. I was also a big Don Meyer follower.
Oh, I love Don
I
Meyer. Yeah.
stayed with Don several times. I went down every summer to his clinics and camps. I worked his camp when you couldn't go to the cafeteria unless you had pants and a long sleeve shirt on. It was 107 degrees one day. We're trying to put on pants and long sleeve
Long
shirts
sleeves.
to go in the cafeteria to eat, which I'm like, this is crazy. And we just kept doing it. The coaches were great. I learned a tremendous amount from him and Mike Roller down there. They were great. Uh, I go back to even, Ray McCallum when I was at Detroit, Juwan Howard. Obviously you had probably Phil Martelli. I know he's a close friend of yours
Yep.
was on.
Mhm.
You pick and choose a lot of those people that, you kind of just follow and see if it flows with your philosophy. And then obviously the guys in our state like and some of those guys from a distance you try to follow, and you cherry pick what fits you and what doesn't fit you. And I think what it does is, it molds your philosophy. You've got to pivot. Today's game, you got to pivot. I mean, it's just the way it is. I do try to find somebody, I follow some teams overseas that I like to watch because I think the European basketball is fascinating.
Mhm.
It really is. And I think we're a little bit behind in that segment a little bit. But I got a flux of people that I probably say that had influence. I could give you a long list of people, but those are just a few of the names as I drop them.
Yeah.
And I watch that. I got a lot of like the Dan Fifes, the guys I watched his practices. Like those people had huge influence in the structure of your practices and what you try to do. And what's nice about today, Jim and Mike, is that you can get on the internet and follow some of the videos and see. Back when we were growing up, you had VHS tapes and you had to buy them for
Right.
$30 a
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
learn as you go. And then I'm a junkie. I follow everybody from a distance. I try to, tap into different things that I like and don't like. And obviously Instagram and some of those are great resources. But I think coaches, if young coaches are listening, I would tell you to get on one or two successful things and just really study them and watch them play and, really take nuggets from them and not, overburden with too many things. But I follow a couple people and you'll see what they're doing and how they do it, which is really unique.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's great advice. I've talked to a couple young coaches who I've kind of built relationships with who reached out to me that I'm trying to help, get varsity jobs. But and
Yep.
to me, it is I learned my lesson the hard way along the way is that you learn to be great at a few things than average at a bunch of them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough, like I kind of cut my teeth with post players and post play. So it wasn't being taught. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna jump in on this side of it and see what we can do.
Mhm.
And I've been able to obviously with the Chris Kaman thing, it kind of really exploded to help my reputation because you took somebody that, was a Class D ball player and made him lottery pick. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I should say this. He made himself a lottery pick. We gave him some of the tools that he needed, and then you put in the time and the work, good things will happen to you. But again, but I would tell young coaches too to go to practices and watch people. I'm women, men, high school. You'll see me in a gym somewhere snooping around, just seeing what's going on to steal something.
Yeah. So I have another great Don Meyer story now that you brought that up. So he was at I believe Lipscomb for a while.
Yep.
And I was a Division III player at Concordia, Chicago. And we went down to Nashville to play in a tournament at Lipscomb, and we end up playing them. They're a nationally ranked team. And we're up 5 or 6 at halftime. And I probably played my best game I've ever played as a college player, Division III college player. And on the way home, he had a nightly radio show, and my parents had come down. So they're in the hotel room. We turn it on, and they're talking to him, and they go, "Yeah, that point guard, he wasn't even on our scouting report. I didn't think he could shoot the ball at all." So that's my claim to fame with Don Meyer is
Don Meyer.
I wasn't on his scouting report.
Well, you'll never forget. You never forgot your name after that. That's for sure. It's funny.
Look at me. You got dropping all these influencers and who's impacted your life, and I'm going to take it. Now I'm the bad guy. It's got to twist it. The next question. I didn't hear a referee in there. And we're talking about Bruins, Ma. Well, that's when I left coaching and I went into refereeing, and then I didn't hear any referees ever, any influence anybody. So as a high school ref, and we are fresh off a lot of clinics that are going on preseason. We have a lot of NCAA referees coming in and helping us, and then some of the younger folks. But I was always curious when I talked to coaches, especially experienced as you at your level. What do you think the toughest call for guys like us in the stripes in today's game? What do you think that toughest call is?
I haven't found any official that will cheat for me, so that's a good thing. All right, so they're holding true. And when being in it 41 years, I've seen the same ones just keep coming back. All right, I see them. I love it because we had John Floyd the other day. He played when I was coaching at Central for Dockish, and you know where they played and what they've done. So it's like there's some great conversations. But I'll take it here. I think for young coaches, the block charge is always because now it's continuation for college, both feet on the ground. They put the circle there. I think it helps. So we as coaches, we've adjusted now. Now everything's jump walls, right? Everybody jumps, strong chest. You can go vertical to the ceiling. I think that helps with that because guys are flopping all the time. Let's be honest. Guys are being touched and they're falling down. So they kind of that's been a good thing. They cleaned it up. I thought that part of it. I think the other part, and they're really not doing a lot of it. So it's the post play was always an issue. Because the bigger, stronger, like I'm going to say this, we had Chris Webber and Juwan, and we were just trying to punk everybody, throw it down there. And if we went through their chest and tried to score, and that was a strategy that won a lot of games. Yeah. So, but not a lot of people are doing that anymore. So it's now a lot of pick and roll, hand checking on the pick and roll, bumping pick and roll. I think it's happening such at a split second now, Jim, that it's got to be clean. I think the game favors obviously freedom of movement. I think that's important. We were just talking about this the other day in the office. I said back when we played, it was just whoever was stronger wins, hand checking, bumping, and they've cleaned it up to make it a little bit more entertaining. I think the game favors the offensive end. So as coaches, we've tried to, again, adjust as much as possible. I think, when guys are using their chests more, Jim, I love it instead of their hands. I made it just keeps it cleaner. So, but I would say still that the block charge stuff, I think those are the hardest calls for people to make because they're bang bang calls, and they're hard. And and I got great respect. I did this to Chris Kaman in practice one time, and if he ever listens to this, he'll back it up. he was complaining about the fouls. I finally said enough. I got a jersey. I took his jersey off, gave him an officiating jersey, and said, "Okay, you start calling." Listen,
Yeah.
he wanted no part of calling fouls
bet.
on his buddies. He
I
wanted no
know, I
part of
know.
it. He was
Yeah.
begging to get to the other side. Just let me play, and it kind of made my point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think Don Meyer made this statement too as we're talking. He's like, "Hey, you always remember when you got cheated, but not when you cheated the other guy." You know,
That's
and I do
right.
think,
That's right. Good
I
point.
do think
Yeah.
it balances
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
really
I do too.
I
I do
really
too.
do too.
You know, I got
Watching,
great
even
respect.
at even at this level, I think it balances out, right? And we see it at the highest levels on TV, but I
I
think
do,
ultimately it does balance out. But I think the
for
guys
sure.
at your level, I think the physicality has got to be extremely difficult for them to um, to manage to judge. Really, it's just a advantage disadvantage kind of thing. It's not just as clear fouls and whatnot.
It
So,
is, but if you call it from the start, my biggest thing with officiating is if you're going to call it that way at the start, call it throughout the game, and the players and
Agreed.
coaches adjust.
Yep.
But if you let some guys at the start chuck and hold, and then you call it on my guys the next time down the floor, then we
Yeah.
have problems.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Agreed.
So
Yeah, it's just
Agreed.
consistency. Just like you ask from coaches and players, you need it from
Yeah.
officials as well.
And we
no
talk
question.
about that. We talk about that. You got to get it early if you're going to get it, right? And you got to be consistent
Yep.
for, in our instance, 32 minutes. Yours is 40. But yeah, we talk about that in the clinic. So go
And
ahead,
you
Mike.
know the big games are coming up. The big games, you know they're big games. You got to call it early because it'll get away from you. You know it, and I
Right.
know
It
it.
will.
You know,
Yeah.
those are huge.
Yeah.
We do,
Yep.
for sure, for sure.
So, Coach, we have talked to a lot of Division One coaches about the current landscape in college basketball with the transfer portal and NIL. I'm curious as to what your take is on the current landscape of college basketball, and if there's anything you'd like to see changed in that aspect.
Well, I'm going to go back to when it came into being. I think it was 3 years ago, maybe 4. We were kidding ourselves, like, when they did NIL and transfer portal the same year. 2 huge pivots from the traditional way of doing things. And to have no guardrails on any of it, to me, the NCAA is run by the presidents. And they're supposed to be the smartest ones in the room. Sorry if there's a president listening.
Yeah.
But you're kidding yourself if money wasn't going to be a priority. Like, you have to know there's got to be some guardrails. And now they put some guardrails in place. Um, uh, the transfer portal is still, to me, if you can go to 4 or 5 schools, I'm not sure we're sending the right message. I think Izzo's commented about the G League
Yeah.
transfer. I just don't think that's good for college basketball. I think you're just telling them to move on to the next problem, right? And it's a hard to find, a leveling point somewhere in there that makes it sound for everybody. And I'm all for young men making the money that they deserve. I'm all for that 100%. To have some guardrails on it, I think is important to keep the integrity of, when, like Izzo said, when are we going to teach kids how to persevere? When are they going to be hardworking to fight through situations? I think all those things are things that we did growing up that
Right.
made us who we are right now. Like, we understand how to roll up our sleeves. If we hit a problem now, some kids just move on to the next school. I'm not sure that's going to be a good thing in the long term. But
Yeah.
I do think some guardrails. I think the bigger problem right now, guys, is all this gambling stuff that's going to be happening. They opened up a can of worms. Now, college kids can gamble on football, college football,
Other
and stuff like
sports.
that.
Yeah.
Other sports. I think, like, we're kidding ourselves and putting blinders on if we don't think that's going to be an issue with tax evasion, with gambling. Like, they're hitting the tip of the iceberg with some of these pro teams and things right now. I got to believe. I I have a hard time not believing there's not more people involved
I would agree.
with this gambling issue. But to me, the transfer portal, I'd like to see you get to go once unless a coach leaves, and then you could go. There's some things, I think, some guardrails that could be put on to bring it more in alignment. Because if you're not playing, you're looking for the exit to get out and go home or transfer out. And
Yeah, and that's an interesting point because for me as a fan, as a college basketball fan, right? Like I have more of a problem with the transfer portal than I do with anything with NIL.
yep,
Um,
I
Mid
agree.
majors where you're at
Can't
now,
imagine.
like
We talked about this,
the
Michael.
roster reconstruction that has to be on your mind 24/7 because you're going to develop a kid who's going to become really good and they're going to want to leave and chase the bigger money. You're going to have
100%.
kids who aren't playing what they think they should be playing, and they're going to leave and chase playing time, right? So you've got
No
both ends of
question.
the spectrum to have to deal with.
I think the big thing is, and I told the coaches, I told this to Stan, assistants, like the only thing we can control is our relationships with these kids,
Mhm.
Right.
with these young men, and make it really hard because you're so close to them and they're so close to you. And if we're doing that, then that's all we can do. Because you know, as you know, there's going to be some people in their ear about the money. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to worry
Yeah.
about it. We need to try to transform and make it transformational rather than transactional. I get it. But those relationships to me are really important that they believe in the staff, believe in the coaches. And I agree, the mid majors, low majors, we're a little bit of a feeder system for, if I had one rule, I'd say, well, if they take one of our players, the upper school should finance
Find one that
some type of money. JMAC,
Yeah.
just like
makes sense.
some of these, when you hire a coach away from somebody, they owe money to somebody. But I know the big majors are probably saying, Jay, shut up right now. We don't want you to say that.
I think the other thing,
But,
Michael, we've heard there's some other coaches is some of the high school kids are going to suffer from it, right? Because
Oh,
they're
without
not going to
question.
be as creative. We've talked to other coaches that have mentioned that. Yeah.
and
Oh,
you
wanna
guys
take
got to
it-
know, high school coaches, it's coming your way.
Yeah.
yeah,
I said
well,
it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
No, it
coming.
is. It was.
way.
There's no
It
doubt. It
is.
was on the state legislature docket until the
It's
House flipped.
It's right. It's going to come your way. And all of a sudden now you got to deal with the dynamics of the parent wanting some money for that kid
Yeah.
from a local business in town, or how they're going to skin that. I was on a committee to hire a basketball coach at high school, and I told the principal, I said, you better read up on it, because it's going to be a trickle down. It's going to be in your lap before you know it.
Wow.
Yeah. And at the high school level, in my opinion, it's going to be the top 1% that get all the talent, that have the pockets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No
You talk
question.
about division. You
question.
talk about Class D schools. Like,
Yep.
where do we fall in the process? So
I
But
think
you could have
probably
a
in the
power
same
team
spot.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
You could put together a power team.
Yeah.
Put a
You
power
could.
team
Like,
together.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I'm going to
mean-
switch gears a little bit and talk
Go ahead.
about something personal for you. College coaches and their families sacrificing a tremendous amount of family time to pursue this profession. And I say that because it's, as a married man who's been coaching high school basketball, it's a sacrifice for the entire family, right? Your son Cooper, who has been able to follow you as a member of your teams at Kalamazoo, Michigan, and now at Eastern Michigan as a grad transfer. How has that experience for you been able to spend that amount of time with your son, and how has it been for Cooper to be able to spend that much time together as basketball player and coach and dad and son?
Well, I'm going to tell you, like I tell him, he's my favorite player. I don't care. He's my
Of
favorite
course.
player. I get
Amen.
to see my son every day coming through the door. And where a lot of coaches, their sons go somewhere else, they go to school. I've been able to see him. I've been able to watch him grow as a person, as a player. I'm so blessed. And yeah, he hasn't played a lot. I get it. But it's bigger than that. It's
Yeah.
much, much bigger than that. He's trying to follow a little bit in my footsteps, wants to get into coaching. He's getting his teacher certification. So if there's anybody looking for a young coach out there, we'll put that line out there, try to
Hey,
cast it a
man,
little
you
bit.
got that right.
But in the dynamics, yeah, he follows me. We sit in practice and we watch practice the whole time, Mike. And he'll say, "Hey, Dad, what about this? What about that? Hey, what about this?" He has some really great insight to watching guys play, to different matchups. That's really helped. It's really helped me to pay more attention to it. And I think if I could demonstrate being a good dad, to my son in front of the players that are there, I think that helps our team. I do. I think it helps in more ways than you can count. And I just so blessed because he's great with young kids. He's great with our players. Uh, he's a worker. He knows he isn't going to play a whole lot, but every day he comes ready and prepared and ready. And I'm really happy that I've been able to spend these years with him.
Yeah,
I
and
think it's
having
really
gotten to
cool.
know Cooper a
Kudos.
little bit, yeah, getting to know him a little bit myself, just a tremendous young man. And from a player's perspective, right? Like to say, hey, I could probably go somewhere else and play and get some more playing time, but the quality time that I get to spend with my dad has got to
Yeah.
make you feel awfully good as a father.
It's I'm a father first. Coaching what I do, I'm a dad first. And that's important to me. Like that's just the relationships with all of our players are great, but it's like being a father, as you guys know, like it's a title that you're proud of, and you're proud your son's a good person doing good things. Know that when you leave this world, he's gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
Awesome.
That's awesome. He's got to help out quite a bit, right? Obviously, you mentioned it in the locker room. So the how are things looking so far for the Eagles this year?
Well,
And I want to talk about Mac. I want to talk about Mac Mansell. I refed him a few times in high school, and he was a phenomenal high school player. So
he
tell me
is.
about
He's
tell me
you know
about
what
tell
we're
me
like.
about tell us about the Eagles.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're like most. We have 10 new guys on the team, and we're still in the process. As you know, when you're playing competition, you start to figure out your team a little bit more. We had a good win at home against Georgia State. We went down, played Pittsburgh real tough. We lost by 12 at Pitt. Came back home, played IU Indy, which plays a little bit like the old Loyola Marymount, where they're averaging
Yeah.
100 points a game,
Yeah. I
traveling
watched that game
everywhere.
the other night.
We
Yeah.
got we got beat by 7, but it's so an unconventional way of playing. It's a hard prep. But we go to Detroit on Tuesday. We're looking forward to that. We got Oakland on Friday. Most of the teams know each other, which is good. But I really like our guys. We got a lot of Michigan guys. Kid from Makai Allison from Flint Carmen Ainsworth, John Sanders from Southfield Christian, Mac Mansell, Mohammed Hebab from over at Detroit Fordson. We
Yeah.
have like 10 new.
Talk about
Go
the
ahead.
early season he's had, man.
He's been terrific. He's such a
Man.
he's 6'10" now, and he's put on some weight. He went to Central, hurt his foot, redshirted, and when he left, he wanted to come back. His brother-in-law played at Eastern, so he wanted to come to Eastern. His parents were super excited because they're 20 minutes away. But he's going to be such a dynamic player because he's a great facilitator. He can score. He can rebound. He's long. He's a team kid. He's lacking like Chris came a little. He's lacking some strength right now, but it's coming. And you can let
Awesome.
him grow for a couple of years. He's going to be a special level player.
Yeah, he seems raw. His game, to me, resembles a little bit of like a Chet Holmgren type of kid. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he's got
no
that vision,
question.
the IQ, can step away a little bit. Yeah.
I told him he's the Joker. He's more
Yeah.
Jokish there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Joker. Minus 65 pounds. All right.
Yeah. And 65 mil.
Yeah, for sure.
You
For
mentioned that
sure.
schedule you got coming up. You got that tough in-state schedule coming up. Take it easy on the Everhart kid at Cleary though when you get him. So
Yeah, we got Cleary coming in.
Yeah.
I saw. You know what? I saw your post. I saw the Cleary went over to play Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any more Everhart brothers? It seems like there's been about 20 of them come through.
There is.
All right.
Why there's not anymore. That's why we struggled so bad last year at Mooney. So
That's funny. That is funny. No, just we got a good team. We got a lot of Michigan kids, so it'll be a fun year. It has its ups and downs, but as you guys know, it's more the relationships and the fun part of being around guys. And yeah, when I just started, it was about winning, right? It was.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot more. There's
It
a lot
certainly
more
is.
to it than that, for sure.
Well, Coach, this has been awesome. An awesome segment to sit down and talk to you. A Michigan high school legend, a coaching legend in the state of Michigan. Collegiately for 40 plus years. We appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate your friendship. It's been awesome getting to know you and watching you and Cooper from afar, and now getting to know you guys. So I want to take an opportunity to thank you for coming on and spend some time with us.
Oh, I
Yeah.
appreciate both of you. I'm gonna say this, I told you before we got on the air. What you did with your friend Bobby is heartfelt. I could feel it. I can feel that love when you put it out there to Bobby and the people that supported you guys. I know he's on a fast recovery. I can't say enough. You know, prayers out to you. We're praying from a distance. You know, let the good Lord take work his healing hands on him. And Jim, it was good connecting with you too.
Thank you.
It's
You
awesome to see
too.
you both
Thanks for
doing so
joining
well.
us. Yeah,
You
thank
know,
you.
we're
Thanks.
blessed.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we
Thank you.
certainly are. Thanks again, Coach, and good luck
All right.
to the Eagles this
Yeah,
season.
good luck.
Appreciate you
All
both.
right,
Thank you.
take care.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jim, episode 18 was definitely a good one. Jay Smith, a guy who we could sit and talk hoops to in the state of Michigan for a very long time. Not only is he a high-level college basketball coach for 4+ decades, but just his connections in the state at the high school level as well.
Just see exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. He's covered every level in this state of ours in basketball. You said we could have gone on and on talking names and teams in this state. It was great to have him on. I appreciate him taking the time.
Yeah, so hopefully Jim and I are planning to get into some preseason stuff here and talk about some upcoming high school basketball players, some rules changes maybe. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we'll bring that to you fairly soon. But for Jim McAndrews, my name is Mike McAndrews. Thanks for joining us on episode 18 of Two Shots in the Ball podcast. Take care.
Thank you.
We want to clean in the paint. We're going to call hand checking and body checking, and sportsmanship is an absolute must, okay?